Hello again, Braggers family. Welcome to another episode of My Delicious Cooking. Today I'm going to make eggplant soup. This is really a delicious recipe. You certainly will not want to miss watching this to the end. I will begin by prepping the eggplants. So here, this part is not going to be not eaten, so I cut it out and I toss it. So now I'm simply just going to take the whole of that out, and I'm going to dice this into tiny bits. You can dice it as big as you want or as tiny as you want. So I'm making them into chunks, as you can see. So my eggplants are nicely diced. I'm ready. Now the next major ingredient that I'm going to use for this is collard greens. So the next ingredient is collard greens, prepared as follows. So you prepare this by simply ripping off the fleshy part from the main vein, which is very hard to chew. That should not be part of the recipe. Once you have completely ripped out the leafy part from the main vein, wash nicely and then dice into tiny bits as shown in the video. I have here my eggplant, my diced collard greens, my red onions, and of course I do have bouillon cubes. For the bouillon cubes, these are fresh herbs bouillon cubes. I will include a link in the description so that you will see how I made these hydrated bouillon cubes, which I'm going to use for this recipe. So guys, I'm starting with a dry pan. I'm going to put it on the stove and turn the stove on to medium heat. Now I'm going to add my oil to that pan. Here I am using avocado oil. You can use any other kind of oil of your choice. You could also even use red palm oil. That adds enormous flavor to this recipe. I do not have it, so I am going to go with avocado oil. Enough quantity there. If you measure, you could use at least a quarter cup or as you desire. So I'm going to allow that pan to warm up a little bit. So you can see the oil covers the pan. So that's what I wanted, just to make sure I grease the entire pan. So my oil has warmed up. Now I'm going to season that oil with salt. Salt is to your taste. Some black pepper. To your taste as well. Swirl the pan and allow that to mix nicely. Now I'm going to add my red onions. I will stir that in. So I allow that to simmer for a while. So after frying my onions for about 3 minutes, now I'm going to throw in the eggplants. Stir that in, and I will allow that to cook for 5 minutes. So it's been 5 minutes. So the next thing that I do, I'm going to throw in my bouillon cubes. These are the hydrated bouillon cubes that I made. I will put a link to the description so that you can see that. Now I'm going to cover that up with collard greens. And I'll put in some more seasoning, same that I did earlier, black pepper, just a little bit more, and it is to your taste. Some more salt, and don't forget, my meals are never complete without my spicy red pepper. So I'm going to put in some spicy red pepper, optional. This is the vegetarian version. If you want to add anything like beef, chicken, shrimps, fish, whatever you desire, if you do not want it vegetarian, please do so and it will still be very delicious. So now I'm going to throw in a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Just a few drops. That adds flavor to it as well. Nice. Mix that in. I will allow it to cook for 15 minutes, but I will cover the pot. We'll come back in 15 minutes. So guys, while my eggplant is steaming up there, I'm going to prepare my rice. And I'm going to make for one portion. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some water to this, rinse it up, and then add a little bit more water and put it on the stove. So how much water you add to your rice is depending on the kind of rice that you have. This is long grain rice, and every long grain rice is not the same. But I'll start with just a little bit of water to cover it, and if it needs more water, I'll add as I go on. So many ways of making rice, as you have already seen from my previous videos. My rice is on the stove. I turn off the heat, medium heat. What I do to my rice is I add a little bit of oil to it. You could, sometimes I add butter, but I add oil to my rice. And I also add salt to my rice. Mix that nicely in, and I'm going to allow it to cook until it is soft. It's been 15 minutes, Braga, so let's take a look at this delicious. This smells really delicious. At this point, I'm just going to turn off the stove, and I will allow it to sit there until my rice is ready. We'll come back to the test when it is time to test. Okay, Bragas, my food is ready. My rice is boiled and tender. It's really tender now, so I am going to scoop so I can get this party started and give it the verdict. And so here we are. Mind you, you can use this soup on other things. It doesn't have to be only rice. You can have some potatoes, some yam, some cassava, whatever else. You can use it as a side dish for steak, chicken, and so forth. Guys, if you like this recipe, please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Be one of the first to be notified once I have uploaded those new videos. Well, thank you.